All right, we're looking at a story that's now exploded on the internet where a Delhi University college principal pastes cow dung on the walls. That sparked a huge controversy. At Delhi University's Lakshmibai College, principal has sparked this bizarre controversy by coating classroom walls with cow dung, claiming that it keeps temperatures low and purifies the environment. Well, Principal Dr. Prity Sharma personally supervised the application of cow dung in some classrooms, citing Ayurvedic benefits and saying that it would keep students healthy and focused. Photos of her inspecting the smeared walls and doing it herself has now gone viral. Of course, the internet isn't entirely convinced, from calling it a medieval makeover to asking if DU is turning into a Gaushala. Critics now questioning whether this has any scientific basis or it's just another attempt to push pseudoscience in the name of culture. The principal, of course, stands firm, saying this is eco-friendly, traditional and effective. But here's the real question: does this really work, and should this kind of practice be part of our modern educational spaces? To discuss this, we have Dr. C.V. Sharma, educationist and professor of IGNO. We also have Ambika Bhargava, senior architect. And of course, we also will have an Ayurvedic doctor with us. But a quick word, let me start with the lady here, Ambika Bhargava, who's an architect. You know very well the material used to cool an environment or a room. Cow dung on the walls. What's your take?
So, good evening, sir. Thank you for having me here. So, it's been a very traditional method to paint the walls or to have the floors covered with cow dung since thousands of years. That's been practiced in the villages. And the thing is, ki earlier the walls were made of mud. So coating the mud walls with that cow dung paste was okay. But how are we going to justify that by painting the walls which are made of brick and concrete, and we also have a plastered walls? I don't think it's going to be as effective as the lady has thought it to be. So there had been so many practices which we thought would be very sustainable and eco-friendly in nature if we go back to our roots and find some solutions of sustainability. But I don't think we can go back and use such methods now if they are not at all acceptable by the users. So being an architect, we also try to respect the client's demands. And
just a quick question, Ambika. We see a car here that's covered in cow dung, an image of a car that's fully covered in cow dung. What science is this? Does it really cool down a hot surface?
I don't think the metal will allow that permeability or you know that the transfer of heat through a metal can be blocked using cow dung. And it's always like a personal choice for a person to have their own whims done through such things.
I mean, personal choice is one thing, and then enforcing it in a school classroom is another. Let's take you through those images of the principal there. But our educationist on the panel here, C.V. Sharma, your take on a method like this being adopted in a space of education when there's no concrete evidence in science?
Very rightly said, there is no concrete evidence. I know, I mean, traditionally we have been painting our walls with cow dung, but then just as Ambika ji said, that the wall was of mud and not of concrete. So, painting a concrete wall with cow dung in a college, I guess this is psychophancy. And I'm not surprised, in fact, because in the present circumstances and the milieu, many people are doing such things to be in the limelight and catch the attention of those who call themselves proponents of Hindutva or Bhartiyata. So, but this I would think is not a very right move to paint the wall, a concrete wall of a college with cow dung. I'm told and I read that the principal justifies it by saying that this is part of a research and the finding would come soon. This should not have come in public then. why should that video of the principal painting the wall with cow dung be on the internet if it is not psychophancy and a media gimmick to attract the attention of those who believe or who wish to propagate or promote
yeah.
the Indian tradition.
Very
So
well
I
said.
don't think it is either part of
Absolutely. If
research
research
or
is not out, then a
justified.
video like this should not be out, especially from a principal. You know, you have lots of conversations on the internet where people claiming that those who pass out from this college wonder how well they will be placed in companies if this is the kind of education that they receive and whatnot. She's being vilified, some of them hailing the move, saying it's true, it's scientific. A final word from Dr. Samarth, who is an Ayurvedic expert, on exactly what are the benefits of cow dung.
Look, I am a very practical Ayurveda practitioner in Bangalore, and cow dung is called Gomaya in Ayurveda. Looking at it from a hygiene perspective, it is very well accepted. We use cow dung to prepare a lot of medicines such as bhasma. There is a good property for it to burn very well with a particular temperature of heat. The other thing is we also use certain gomaya in certain medicine preparations like Panchagavya Gruta, Mahapanchagavya Gruta. They're used in conditions like epilepsy and certain other mental health problems. And gomaya is totally hygienic. When you can paint the room with lead-clad paint and chemicals, why not decorate it with cow dung? Well, if it's the smell, it is something natural and it is something acceptable, it's hygienic, it's traditional. Why not plaster it with cow dung?
Well, I'm not too sure if, ma'am, go on.
Sir, you are very right. It is considered one of the Panchagavya we call. We actually, me being a Brahmin, we also have certain rituals at times in which we use cow dung cakes. We burn them, wo havan yagya, in all that we use them. But these days, if you talk about using them as an alternative method, we also have some eco-friendly paints which are prepared on the base of cow dung, but they are not applied like raw in this form the way the ma'am
Right,
lady
yeah.
has been
So
doing it.
this method itself might not be applicable and effective because it's a concrete wall and not a mud one. A final word from you, Mr. Sharma?
I completely agree with the Ayurveda expert that this has been used and this may have relevance in the Ayurveda, but then doing it the way the honorable principal is doing is unacceptable. This is psychophancy. And I must say, this is just to please those in the corridors of power and grab attention. That should not be done. This is not the job of a teacher, a principal, and an academician.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Samarth and ma'am. Yeah.
I have a quick point to make. We just concluded the IA, in which I belong to, the Indian Institute of Architects. We just completed India's first carbon neutral architectural conference, the national convention that we had, and we discussed a lot of optional ways of sustainable materials and how.
Okay, we look you up and we look up the event. You've said it. You've said it loud and clear, and I'm sorry, I'm very short of time. Thank you very much, Mr. Sharma, Samarth, and Ambika for joining us with that.